This week on Gymwright Live, we interview Jessica Depatie, the marketing maven, formerly known as Jessica Webster, where we review the gym landing pages that you guys submitted earlier this week and show you how to optimize them for maximum conversions. For all of you listening to this via podcast, be sure to check out the video version of this interview and the extensive show notes at gymwright.com. And if you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and written review. If you'd like to watch the show live, we record every Friday in the network, which is our free private Facebook group for the motivated gym owners of the world. Join the network today and grow your gym. Okay, back to the show. So, Jessica, welcome to the show. We are doing a redo because our live feed was not working correctly. So we're doing this offline. We're going to then post it online. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing for the people viewing, listening, and so on. So, Jessica, welcome to the show. You are our in-house gym marketing specialist. You work with our gyms. You work with, obviously, everything that we do is Gymwright. So excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. Again, super excited to be here.
Right. By the way, this is take 2. We had like a 6-minute clip in the network where audio was all jacked up. So we're doing it again.
That's what happened last time.
Exactly. So Jess, this week we've got something really cool. We're doing something different from our usual format where we put a post into the network earlier this week asking for people to share links to the landing pages on their websites. And we got a ton of submissions. It was like over 30 submissions of people and the links to their sites. We've been taking a look at them, working through them. And what we're going to do today is we're actually going to walk through each of them step by step, breaking down what we like, what we're looking for, what we might change to optimize each one of your guys' submissions. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that we've been doing with our foundations clients is helping them with their Facebook ads. So as soon as all of their systems and their programs and their pricing, everything is ready to go, we take a look at their website and make sure everything is optimized for these ads. Now, I've been finding a lot of issues with landing pages. The good news is it doesn't take a lot to reformat these things as long as you have some kind of webmaster or some sort of like WYSIWYG editor, which is like a WYSIWYG meaning what you see is what you get. That means like you don't need to know code or anything, which is how most websites are built these days. But instead of, like going through all of these sites and redoing these one by one, I just thought it'd be fun to go into the network and see who might need landing page help. And it looks like we have at least 35 people who want some help. So
nice.
I'm excited to go through it. Ready to get
Perfect.
started?
Yep, ready to rock and roll.
Okay. So I guess we can start off with why this is important. So if you know that people are going to your website, but you're not getting conversions, that means there's something wrong with at least one of 3 things. There's something wrong with your landing page, meaning like the design, the formatting of it, the imagery, or other qualities of your landing page. It just like turns people off for some reason. Or it might be your offer is weird. The hook that you're using to get your website visitors to convert, it's not really resonating in the right way. So maybe it's not interesting or valuable enough. And then finally, product. So like if the product you're selling isn't really desirable enough to convince people to want to engage with it, like let's say you're selling, I don't know, like a workshop for colored pencils or something, that may be a difficult thing. Like your landing page could be amazing, your offer could be interesting enough, but like if the product itself is just pretty whack, then we're gonna have a problem. So for product, let's take that off the table because we obviously know that people are interested in CrossFit. So we're going to look at basically the landing page primarily, and then some of the examples or some of the sites that I took a look at this morning, they have a slight problem with the offer. So we'll be throwing that in there as well.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay. So landing page optimization, that's basically referring to this process of enhancing or improving each of the elements on your landing page. The landing page, to increase conversions. Your landing page really needs to be very, very simple. It basically needs to be 6 things. You want to have a very clear offer. You want to have it simplified in a way so that people can scan it in a second because they might be on the toilet, right? And like you need to capture their attention very quickly. They might be at a red light. Like life happens and people are on their phones in many, many different circumstances. So you can't just assume that people are going to be at their desk ready to like commit to something. You need to catch them in a second. You're also going to have to assume that they're on their phones, so it needs to be optimized for mobile. The third element is the form. Fourth being your call to action. So how are people getting to this form from your website or from your ad? And then we have video or imagery. So what type of imagery are you going to have on this form? And all of these 5 or 6 elements there, that's basically all you're going to want to have. Anything else can be a little bit distracting. You can have testimonials on there, but that's not really necessary because the primary objective is to get them to fill out that form. So your landing page can't be too void of content, nor should it be too distracting with, let's say, like an Instagram feed or anything like that.
Love it. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so first thing, making your offer clear. One of the biggest things that you can do right now is make sure that your offer is super, super clear. So if you're offering a free fitness assessment, you need to explain the details of this offer. People don't want to guess what they're going to be doing when they come into your gym. And bullets, like I said before, are also really helpful here. It needs to be quick and scannable. And that also applies to how people get to your landing page from your website or from your ad. So you need to be very clear on that little button, or like the header right above that little button that takes you to that landing page, what that button is going to take you to. So if it simply says something like contact us, that's not really enough to get people enticed to click on that button. The next thing is that form. So it needs
Hold on. Let me pause you right there actually before we move on, because that first piece, I don't want to just skate past it, because, for example, free fitness assessment, we want to make sure it's actually something that people want. We got to understand where they are in their buyer's journey and make sure that this is something that's enticing to them, that feels like they are actually taking a next step rather than just your process. So for example, a lot of gym owners, especially those who are more sophisticated in their training, they start with a fitness assessment. But most people who are looking for who are potential members at your gym aren't wanting to start with a fitness assessment. That's not sexy. That's not, doesn't feel like a next step. That feels like paperwork at the doctor's office. And that's not really going to entice people. So we want to make sure that what it is that we're even offering is enticing, and that, the language for it obviously reflects it. So it's not just contact us or even free fitness assessment, but maybe instead it's free trial. Free trial is vague enough, but it also is like, oh, cool, that's what I'm looking for. That's my first step. Well, that free trial can be a free session, which includes a fitness assessment. And you can go over that once you get the conversation started. But this is all pre-conversation, right? So we got to make sure that it feels like a next logical step.
Right. And I would also add to that, it also kind of matters where your gym is located. Because if you're located in a highly, just in the kind of area where trial doesn't really sit, that's why A/B testing a lot of these things works. Like that's why they want marketers to do these kinds of things, because trial may work for one person and not work for the other, where fitness assessment may be freaking awesome for one person and fitness assessment just might bomb for another type of gym. So it all kind of depends on your culture and the area that you're in. Like we'll go through an example of a gym that's in the UK. They use very interesting language that I'm not familiar with, like one-to-one assessments. So if that's normal there, that's not any type of language I would use, but if it's normal there, then we should use it. So it all kind of depends a little bit.
100%.
So with the form needs to be as short as possible, but also needs to ask the questions that you need to understand. So obviously we need to know the first and last name. And I always like to break those up, because if you're ever going to do marketing automation, your names are already separated. So you're not saying in emails like, hey, Marcus Gurzy, because that sounds a little weird. It'll just say, hey, Marcus. Also having 2 ways to contact them is really nice. So at least one of the 2, email or phone number, I would say at least an email. And then for Gymwright platform users, we also ask for gender, because we do this super fancy segmenting where we send really targeted messages. That's a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't say that's totally necessary for every gym, but it is a more advanced kind of system if you're looking for really thorough sort of nurturing after somebody fills out the form. But I also really, really like to have a question that asks people what their fitness goal is. And that alone does a lot of things. First, it suggests that you're a results-oriented organization, so not your average gym, which is interesting to people. It also gets them thinking about their reason for even being on that website in the first place. And it kind of like, it ends on a positive note. It makes them feel really good about what they're doing. It feels like it's a good choice. It's a step forward, like you were saying. It's a natural step forward to be like, I'm joining this gym, or I'm potentially going to join this gym because I'm interested in fat loss. The best marketing in the world makes people feel really brilliant for finding your business. So that's one of these really subtle ways that you can do that. And then lastly, asking somebody how they heard about you. That's of course, a great way to do more of the type of marketing that got them to your site, as long as that they turn out to be a great lead. So if you're getting a bunch of garbage leads and they're all saying that they came in via Facebook ads, you know, there's something wrong with your ad, or maybe Facebook ads aren't your thing. So that's a nice way to sort of like quantify or collect some data there.
Awesome.
The last thing before we get into all of our examples is imagery and video. So this is where your gym can really stand out. Photos of people who are happy and working out together, like that's all very normal to you, but to your average person, that's kind of weird, right? Like they think of going to the gym and it feels like a solo venture into a very boring, like halogen saturated room with too much air conditioning. So having imagery that is different in creative or copywriting, we call it a norepinephrine close. And that means there's something just a little bit different than you're used to. It's not like super bizarre, but it's just a little bit different. And your brain pumps like this tiny, subtle bit of curiosity into your system. And that can like nurture people to take that next step because they want to know a little bit more about what this thing that's a little bit different is all about.
Got it. All right. Are we ready to start sharing screens and getting crazy with it?
Sharing screens. All right, here we go. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Got it.
Okay, great. Let's expand that a little bit. So Deep Roots CrossFit. This is their homepage.
Deep Roots, shout out. Just had my foundations call with them yesterday.
Yay. Hello. Yeah. Welcome.
They're
all right.
rocking.
So what I like is they have a really good call to action here. Start now for free. I would probably get rid of for free. Just start now free would be good. Or a little bit more specific about what's happening on the other end of this. Free fitness assessment and training session. I like that. So obviously my next step here as somebody who's never been to this website before would be to click this. Okay, so problems here. It takes us directly to the contact page. Now, as somebody who just thought that I was going to be getting a free fitness assessment, now I'm getting to the contact us page. I'm thinking like maybe I clicked the wrong thing, so I'm going to go back to the home page and just see like, is there no, start now, click that, getting started. Okay, so this is a better landing page here. So I would actually have them link that first call to action to this page.
Yep.
And I do like all of the fields that they have. Now, the other thing that I want to check is just to squish it down into mobile view. And that's good too. So I like how the offer and the call to action is above the fold. That means like when you take out your phone, it's the first thing you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is pretty simple there. Yeah, I like this. Biggest issue there for me, at least, is just this links to the wrong thing.
Yep. Awesome.
Wait, do we have any imagery on this? No, so I would also add some imagery. Oh, that's the wrong one. Anyway, it was on the other one, didn't have any imagery. A video would be ideal. Again, showing people that this is not your average gym.
Yep.
Okay, chalk line. That sounds
familiar.
Shout
out Emily.
Yes. Oh, hi, Emily. Thank you for letting us know that our audio is bad. Okay, book your free intro session. Love that. It's like the first thing you see here, so I'm going to click on this. Okay, so problem here, it takes us to this really desolate looking appointment page. So I'm clicking around, I'm like, I'm assuming this means I just go into a class, but I don't know how to do CrossFit, so I'm a little intimidated by this. Let's just click one of these to see what happens. Okay, so I need to create an account. Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Marcus, on that, going directly to a scheduler?
I am not a fan at all. Reason being, someone clicks book your free intro session. That's the main call to action. There's no information. And ultimately we are leaving it up to them to schedule the session and then, and go through then, oh, that means I have to create an account. There's far too many hoops to jump through between them expressing interest and you beginning to build a relationship with them. I think it should be as quick and simple for them to make the submission. And then it's then a game of urgency to get that person, the prospective member, on the phone to start building the relationship as quickly as possible. So obviously, once they submit it, they should get an email, they should get a text message and a phone call, as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so I did notice down here that they have new to CrossFit experienced CrossFitters, and I love this. Like, I think this is the best strategy you can possibly have. So what I would do, because I do like this button here, I would have this button go to another page that has a split screen of new to CrossFit or experienced CrossFitters for them to choose their own path. And then let's see what these landing pages look like. Doot, doot, doot. Okay, video's broken, so we're gonna need to fix that. Okay, so I like this. This I would move up to the very top, put this video, assuming it's awesome, put it above that. So we have 2 columns here. And I just wanna see what this button does here. Okay, so that takes us back to that. So yeah, definitely having a form in line instead of going to that scheduler. I'm gonna go into mobile view. New to CrossFit, getting started is easy. I really like that. So we'll get rid of this button. I would move, if you're going to have testimonials, I would move them to the very, very bottom. Because the most important thing is, what do we get during our free intro session? Have anything else?
No, I think you got it.
Okay. Next, we have, what's this gym name? Full Throttle. Okay, so one of the things that, I mean, I know we're not talking about websites, but I can't help myself. Definitely get more of a high-res photo for the very first thing people see, because the quality of your photos subconsciously like communicates the quality of your service, which is garbage. I know, I'm sorry, but like it is the way it is now.
Yeah, this is the reality. You know, this looks like they're a brand new gym. Says at the top, opening October 2018. So it looks like they're probably just ramping up, getting the gym started. But we got to make sure, some of that imagery, I would go for something else. Several things I would point out about that.
I do like this take action. That's awesome. So we can click on this. So it doesn't look like he has his landing pages set up yet. Contact page. Okay, so I would have these broken links go to this contact page, just change contact into, so if he hasn't opened up yet, Marcus, do you have any suggestions for like a pre-opening kind of like call to action offer?
I mean, you could say grand opening special or, something to that effect. But again, I think at the end of the day, it's just get started. Something to that effect is going to be fine.
So we'll change that main call to action on the top to get started. And then here you have the power to change your life. I love that. That's so cool. I would move the phone number underneath the form because most people don't want to call. And then like not a huge deal when we're looking at it on a big screen, but when we smush it down in a mobile view, that form is brought all the way to the bottom. And then message, this is just like, you could even change that to be, what's your primary fitness goal? Like what's your primary fitness challenge? Just like lead them to success. Don't leave everything too open-ended for them.
Yep. The less it feels like a generic contact us form, the better. It should feel very intentional around this is your first step. And again, it's that forward motion effect rather than just, I'm submitting a contact us form, which we all have. I think the census is a bit of a bad taste in our mouth because we just get the generic info, email, then it takes forever for someone to get back or no one's on the other end. Doesn't feel good.
Yeah, like this type of form which just says message to me says default contact form that might possibly not have anybody on the other end of it.
Right.
So, okay. Then for somebody who hasn't opened yet, I am really interested in what is my first free thing going to look like? What is the offer going to be when I fill out this form? I'd love to know. Can I get in there before it's open? Like, are you having consultations before it's open? Just like kind of over communicate the details about what's going to happen to make people feel comfortable. Okay. Edmund's Premier Strength Studio.
Prevail. Looks like.
Oh, Prevail. Oh, Edmund. Oh, I thought that was the guy's name. Okay. Got it.
Hello, Edmund.
So this site has some formatting issues here. Which would be another show. But what I do want to say is the owners are really good looking. And I think that
Shout out to the pretty people that Edmund
Yes. And I think that they are doing a lot of heavy lifting if they are getting leads on this site because it's a little jumbled looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the copy could use some help too. So what we have here is carry the groceries in one trip, which I think is great as part of copy, but not for your headline. Because people don't, I think like you're not proud of how many groceries you can carry until you've been like working out for a while and you're like, yeah, so many groceries. So I almost feel like that's a more advanced thing to say once you've been doing workouts for a while. Also increase confidence. Like these are starts to really, really good headlines and bodies and things, but I think that there's just not really a cohesive message that's going on here. Another thing that I noticed down here is we're not a CrossFit or boot camp, no burpees, no box jumps, running, kipping, Olympic lifting. What I'd want to know is, what are you? So if you guys need help with copywriting or just like communications, you want to level up, Marcus and I both did a course called Procabulary. And one of the things that Mark England talks about is using negations. So kind of an ineffective way to communicate is by saying like things that you don't want or that you are not, or things that are not happening. Instead, communicating what you are or what you do want creates a more powerful kind of like environment and more positive communication between one person and another. So saying that you're not something, or saying like, no worries, for example, that's a good way of subconsciously making people feel like, oh wait, should I have been worried? Or like, oh, I didn't even think about how much I hate running or kipping or box jumping. Like I was kind of preparing myself to do that. Instead, I would talk about all the awesome things that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that to me seems more like a part of the conversation during an intro session, that you can bring up and say, hey, no, we're not. And by the way, we're not a CrossFit gym, so we don't do any of this. We're all focused exclusively on this or that, rather than it being in the headline or above the fold.
Right, definitely. Okay, and same issue here. It's a contact us form, so I would just change this to whatever the offer is, which was ready to get stronger. So yeah, I would say one of the issues is a weak offer here. People aren't really excited by free information. So even if you just say it's a fitness consultation, even over the phone, if you can't, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the circumstance where you wouldn't want to have somebody come in for a free, at least conversation. But if you really can't swing it, at least just giving them a little bit more information on what you would be providing by filling out that form.
Yeah. Copy. I think we need some imagery or video on this page. Doll this up a little bit. It's just very bland. And again, it's all just basic contact us form stuff. So instead of it being message, like you mentioned before, updating that. But I do like the button at the bottom saying stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, look at them. Like, they're so engaging. Like, create as many videos as you can. Like, I just watched this video and they're super fun, like, and great on camera. So play that up, because that's not a common strength in the gym owner industry. People would die to have that kind of charisma. So definitely play to your strengths if it's not, I would just copy basically what you say on camera naturally into the copy that goes on your website. All right, next gen fitness, get a free class. I really like the video background. That's super cool. Get a free class. Takes us to the social feed. Okay, there it is. So it looks just like the lining is messed up there a little bit. Okay. So for me, this is just a little bit too much information. Like, this is information I think that could be communicated on a call, right? So we don't want people to start thinking about, okay, I'm going to show up for Sunday morning, but I pay $10 for another class time. And then it looks like that'll just take you to a scheduler page, which will have them choose their class. Again, it's not really warming people up, especially people who are new, to feel good about their decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the important thing to understand, and maybe I could have said this earlier in the show, but the psychology of where someone is when they are filling out this form. People are in their day-to-day lives, in their routine. They're on the couch, they're, on the toilet, like you said. And the reason why they're taking action is because they are at peak pain around a problem in their life, right? So maybe they got out of bed and their wife teased them on, hey, it looks like you put on a few extra pounds, or they watched something on TV and it made them totally depressed about themselves, or something a coworker said earlier in the day at work that made them crazy self-conscious. And they're at a point of pain where they're like, okay, I need to do something about this. And especially for those of us who run boutique facilities, right? So you're a higher end, more expensive facility, charging north of $100, $150, $200 a month. Most people have already sought out the cheaper, easier solution. They've already tried going to the gym on their own, or going with their buddy to the boot camp or the YMCA and Googling workouts, or taking something from bodybuilding.com or something they saw on YouTube, and it didn't work. So they're now saying, okay, I need help, and I need help to solve this problem. So that's the mindset that they're in when they're doing this. So again, if you start putting hurdles between them and taking that action, this is a very short moment in time that they're willing to take action. So if you put a bunch of hoops and a bunch of copy and too much information, too many steps between them doing that, then they're going to lose steam, because they only want to really hit click. They only want to click submit once. So when you create a multi-step form with a gym, more often than not, I'm willing to bet this gym and even Chalkline, where she's got you've got to pick your time, then you've got to set up a profile, that you're shooting yourself in the foot. I'm willing to bet you're leaving a lot of people on the table, because they are seeing that. They fill out the first step and they're like, there's more, forget it. And they abandon ship. It's the whole abandoned cart issue, right? And that happens a ton. So when I look at this and I see get a free class, it's like, okay, great. It should just be minimal. Gather the info. So you've got it here: first name, last name, email, phone number. It should be submit. Great. You'll be hearing from us shortly. That's it. And not saying, okay, great, view available times, all this free classes offered Saturday mornings. That is TMI, not important. It's, you interested in a class? Great, let's get on a call. That way I can start building a relationship with you, building some rapport. Okay, great, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. So how did you hear about us? Do you have any particular goals? Perfect, yep, that's what we do. Okay, so here's how it works. Let's get you scheduled for that free class right away. The way it works, we have a Saturday morning class, and then you can talk them through it. And if they're like, oh, Saturday doesn't work, okay, great. Well, we do have another option. It is $10 rather than our usual $25 per class, but that gets you your first class at any of our available time slots. This is when you can actually have a chance to talk through it with someone and use your personality, use your charm, and that little bit of a relationship that you've built thus far to try to get them over the hump, rather than this where you're just going to leave them on the table. I would walk away from this website.
Great. Another thing I'll add to that here, when your form is in line in your homepage, you're not going to be able to send ads to it, because sending an ad to a homepage just leaves like all of these other buttons and all these opportunities to get distracted and move on to another website.
Sure.
So definitely have your own landing page instead of just having a little inline form on the homepage.
Yep.
Bringing fitness back to fun. I think it should be bringing fun back to fitness, but that's just
I gave us both pause there for a second. Yep.
But maybe that's at Nora Nephrin close. It's like, oh, it's kind of like Yoda, that's a whole other topic. Sign up. So that's our call to action here. Yes, I would say they could take the same advice that you just gave to that other gym. This is the conversation that you want to have on the phone, and after they've put some skin in the game a little bit.
Yep. I think this, aside from just the formatting of this page, this is actually getting someone to take action. This is the least likely setup to get someone to pull the trigger. You're basically showing them, here's all the hoops, here's all the prices, before you've had an opportunity to get to know them, what their goals are. The first sentence here in the first paragraph is on-ramp is a must. You're already being the bossy, it's my way. I think this page needs a total redo.
And even if your gym's culture is like tough love, if we really want to help people, we have to handhold them a little bit to get in there. And once they're in there, you can have that culture. But I do think that, this needs to be lightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
CrossFit sign up. And then it takes you to a Zen planner. So the only option for them is to, okay, so great. They do have a great offer here. Consultation, 3 free class pass. That's great. I would do a full landing page that just talks about what they get with those 3 free classes. And I think that would do like so much for you guys.
Yep. And I just want to point out, that, doing this linking to your Zen planner or to your Wodify page, because it's like, oh, great. Now I'm saving myself a step from, they're submitting it here and then I would have to enter it in manually after the fact. I'm willing to bet you would take all the members that you're leaving on the table in exchange for that little copy and paste exercise that takes you 8 seconds when someone says, sure, I'm ready to sign up, rather than this, because I can tell you right now, we've checked and tested this over the years, and it is eye-opening and usually wildly disappointing when someone finds out how many people aren't willing to do that. Because not only is this page not a good setup, but then you click through and now I've got to go sort through those options. First of all, it's not a pretty page. Zen Planner doesn't have a nice interface. So you're now on an ugly interface and I've got to sort through all these price points. Oh, there it is. Oh, wait, it's a 3-class consult. Okay, got it. Click sign up. I've got to create a profile. There is far too many clicks and steps to get someone to be able to do it. I'm willing to bet if these guys, because they have a great offer, right? 3-class pass is a good offer. So instead, like you said, making a landing page exclusively around 3-class pass, here's what you get. Hey, are interested in checking us out? We offer 3 classes so that you can do that. So we can teach you the blah, 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 and so on. And that gives you an opportunity to get people in the door, start the conversation. Even if you're doing some editing on that initial call or in that first session, this is not I only want people who take us seriously enough and are willing to jump through the hoops. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people that are being left on the table this way.
Yeah. This would be one of those instances where you're like, this is hard, but I know that there are other CrossFit gyms in my city. So I'm just going to move down that list to see who the sign up process is easier. It's crazy that it's come to that, but
that's the reality, because if you invest in a good interface and a good flow, it's very, very different one side to the next. Because here's the other thing you got to remember. Most people don't just find one gym, open one tab, and that's it. If I go and search for a gym, and we've watched these patterns as well, they'll usually Google and they're like, okay, great. I'm going to now command click, open 3 tabs, 4 tabs for the top few options. I'm going to immediately go off of the page that doesn't look nice or unprofessional or whatever. Now I've narrowed it down to the nicer presentations where I might actually read 1/10 of the page in the copy that's on there. I'm just reading headlines, CTAs. Is it easy? 1 step. Oh, too many steps. X out of that one, moving on to the next one. That's what people actually do. So we got to really take in mind, it's not just a matter of efficiency or ease for you as a business owner as much as, is it important to you to get new members or not? If it is, then you need to work with them so that you can meet them where they're at and educate them to see if they're a good fit or not, rather than the other way around of, well, I'm going to make it really difficult for someone to sign up. And if they make it through these hoops, then they're worthy of, doing a free trial with me.
Absolutely. Okay. Fitness studio, sculpting a foundation. Time to sculpt yourself. I love that. Okay. So what I really do like about this is the free trial offer at the top and then this button here. So anytime you scroll down, we always have that offer at the top. That's really great. And then this is above the fold. So we'll click that. Form. Okay. So the image, this to me evokes your typical kind of gym by yourself sort of thing. Like this girl goes to the gym, she trains by herself in a hat with giant headphones, right?
Why do they always do that?
I know, it's crazy. So I would have a photo of, something a little bit more cool. They have a really cool video. I would try to, again, turn this into a landing page instead of a pop-up thing, change the video and add a little bit more information around a free trial offer. So I don't know what you get with a free trial offer. All I see is that you fill out a form and then you're going to be contacted. So is a free trial a day? Is it a week? Do I get training with it, or do you just let me in and I have to figure it out on my own? That would all be helpful.
Yep.
Okay. But overall, it's very pretty. Okay. Gabby's Gym. All right, cool. So Gabby's Gym website needs some design help for sure, but this is a great example of, you can have a really, really sexy site, but it can be totally dysfunctional. This site could be prettier, but it's very functional, right? We have right here, you know what to do. Schedule a free intro session. It's a community-based gym offering specialty fitness group classes. So you know exactly what you're getting. You can click on this. Okay, I love this intro paragraph. I don't think we've talked about this yet, but you really want that intro paragraph, if you're gonna have one, to remind people that they've made a great decision and perhaps speak to any issues that any objections that they might have about joining, just to make them feel really comfy. And then below here, she has some information on what you get during your intro session and all of the right stuff. I think this is awesome. I really like the pictures. Let me just squish it up into mobile. I don't know if it's going to work on mobile. Okay, so this isn't a mobile optimized site, but she knows that. We're going to fix it. But yeah, but I would say the function is all totally there.
Yep. Yeah. Good. And by the way, Gabby just finished up the foundations program. And we, as part of that, we're having these discussions because none of this stuff existed even a few weeks ago. So this is already helping in generating more leads with just what was already visiting her site relative to before, right? A lot of people get really hung up on lead generation through advertising, through, whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, which is all really good. But before you spend your money on that, optimize where you're sending people, because you very well might be able to hit your goal of maybe adding, an additional 1 to 3 or 4 members net per month just by updating what you have and optimizing the existing lead flow, let alone advertisement, right? It's free or very cost effective if you have a web person to make these kinds of edits and now get far more out of the traffic that you have already. So good job, Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby. Okay, so upper limit. This is a platform user. So right off the bat, love how thorough that button is. Register now for your free Jumpstart package. I even like that they branded it. So it's not just a free session. This again is the example that I brought up earlier, having a split screen of new to CrossFit and experienced CrossFitter for Chalkline that they should do. So let's just click on new to CrossFit. Okay, so my suggestion for this one would just be obviously I really like the formatting. It's super simple. It speaks to all of their issues at this top portion here. It would just be to have your own video. So this is just a CrossFit video. I would just record something and put it up there. That explains a little bit more about what the Jumpstart program is.
Yeah. So, and for those of you watching this or listening to this who aren't familiar with what this is, so the platform is a service that we offer through Gymwright, and this is a built-in landing page template where we actually did the optimizing for you already. So it's literally just fill in the blanks for your getting started pages, and people do it for ads where you can have separate breakout pages, and it allows you to kind of dummy proofs it for someone to put together a really good looking and highly functional landing page like this.
I just want you guys to see what it looks like when we break it into mobile view. So this is kind of like the perfect scenario here. You explain what it is or who it's for. You tell them what they're going to be doing, getting started, very short intro, awesome video, and then details. And then below that, the form. And that's it. There's nothing else to distract you from doing anything else.
Mm-hmm. Good job, us.
Okay. Hill Strength. Hill Strength wants you to request more information. So that offer could be better, but maybe it is better and it's just not communicating. Okay, it's a 14-day test ride for $37, which is a good deal. This form is a little long.
Yeah. So this is where they've actually got the waiver and all this stuff ahead of time. Again, I think this may be one of the cases of I'm trying to save myself as the gym owner as much work as possible and just putting it on the prospective member to have them fill out the whole thing and get everything done. And if they want the trial, then they need to do all the work. Not that that's not part of the process of getting set up for the trial, but I wouldn't front load it all like this. That's making the first hurdle the biggest one. Instead, I would make the first hurdle the smallest one, allow us to start building a relationship, and maybe make this something where after you get off the call, where you got them scheduled or you get them started, where you say, hey, I'm going to send you a quick form and our waiver. If you wouldn't mind, please filling it out ahead of time before your first day. We need that in order for us to start the class. That way we can get to the good stuff. Let me know if you have any questions on it.
Perfect. In mobile view, I just want you guys to see this. Would you fill this out on your phone? Good God, no. So, yeah, definitely just first name, last name, email, phone number, reason for signing up. And that's about it. And then on the homepage, oh, that logo takes you back to the scheduler, which is interesting. Here, say a 14-day test drive instead of request more information, because it's just not accurate. When you are filling out that form, you're not requesting more information. You're actually signing up for the test drive. So that's another thing. It needs to be accurate and consistent there, because I think that's a good deal. That could be good. So adding, of course, video and imagery would be helpful. Okay, this is another Gymwright client. Get your free intro session. I love that because it's nice and thorough on that button again. And for these guys, again, just a video, at least an image or something too would help out. And I like here that they call out that you're new to functional fitness. So it's always making people feel comfortable, right? So because we are able to split out these 2 landing pages into people who are new and people who are experienced, we're able to talk to issues that people who are new have. And we're not bothering people who are experienced with CrossFit with, oh, are you afraid to try CrossFit? You know, well, blah, 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 because that just doesn't resonate with them. So I think this is awesome to be able to split them. So if you can do that, that would be, I think, the ideal situation. Okay. He's awesome. Great. I would join because of that. Okay. So I do think that there needs to be a little bit of copy here, but that might be a little bit more of an expensive change for you guys, just depending on how your formatting is set up. And get started. Click that. Page not found. Okay. So it looks like your link is broken. We'll try this one up here. Okay. That one's broken too. Okay, so we need to change those links. Fitness assessment, what to expect. Yeah, this is good. Picture and then, or video, and then we need inline form. I mean, this isn't terrible. Like, it doesn't ask you a ton of other things, but if you could have that on that page, that would be much better, because that actually doesn't even really look like a button. So if we squish it down into mobile view, especially, that might be like difficult for people to see. We really want that button to stand out and be contrasting. Are we doing okay on time, Marcus?
We're actually running short here. We've only got about 7 minutes left.
Okay, this is an interesting one. I'll just talk through this fast. I do like that this is on the homepage. That's pretty cool. Let's see if they have a different one. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay,
good job. So I can already tell that he's really dynamic and interesting. If you can transfer everything that you said onto this page, a little bit more detail, that would be good. And then getting rid of this message and just making it a like reason why you signed up. Okay. So this is actually the example that I was bringing up. Get started 1 to 2, 1 to 1. Sorry, I'm a little dyslexic. Sometimes that's weird. If this, I'm just going to point this out because I don't know if this actually makes sense, but if 1 to 1 makes sense in your area, then definitely keep it. But if it's something that, like, if seeing this number, you don't think that that's going to resonate with your average person, then just write it out like ONE to 1. Sign up page. Interested in, I would change this to your fitness purpose, because people don't really know what they need, right? So if they have to choose maybe group coaching, but I've never been in a group class before, so I don't really know, figure that out on the call and just find out what they're most interested in changing about themselves.
Yeah, better yet, I would, I see this on sites now and again, and I get again why for you as the business owner, you're asking this because you're like, oh great, I can just segment them right out of the gate. But I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot by not making it a prescriptive sale once the person comes in and saying, okay, great. You said your goal was to lose 40 pounds in the next 6 months before you leave for that vacation. You said you struggle with, accountability and follow through. So what I would suggest is maybe starting with some personal training and and then going to our group program, or we can do a hybrid. Here's basically option A and option B, which one you want to go with, rather than it just immediately taking someone into only group when they very well could have been a perfectly good candidate for individual training.
Cool. And I love this picture. Like, that's that norepinephrine clothes I was telling you about. It's like great. Most gyms aren't like that. Ooh, this is really cool. I like that picture. I think that is actually the owner. So that's awesome. Schedule your free intro session. That's great. So this is good, but already I can see a problem because when you squish it into mobile view, all it says is contact, and that's not the offer. So I would change that to whatever the offer was, which I forgot. And free information available. Oh my God, I don't want any more information. I just want a free session. So, and the button is for free information, but it says you get a free intro session. So I would say that feels a little bait and switchy. People might be like, that seems dishonest, but in reality, what's really happening is you probably just didn't communicate it properly on this page. So I would make sure that this really communicates this is a free trial offer with you actually literally coming into the gym, not just requesting more information.
Right. And if it is one of those sales processes of, there is no free session, we're selling them directly in, which does work in many environments, then you got to make sure that the copy is leading to something like schedule your first session, get started today, not free information. No one wants free information. That's what the internet is.
Correct. All right. So these guys here, they have a very little button here. I would make it much bigger. They have one up here. Let's click that. Okay, so I would say that this is okay. All the suggestions that I brought up for other people, but then also this background, it's not contrasting enough, so it's really difficult to read and nothing really stands out. So I would almost say just make the background black or white, and then have the impact come from the video that you have or the image that you have, and this button being a bright color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everyone has that video.
It's the default.
All right, so this one
here. It's a damn
here,
good video.
I think this is their landing page is just a contact page. CrossFit 101, contact us for more information. So yeah, just make this contact page a page that talks more about what CrossFit 101 is.
Yep.
Another platform user, change that video out and we'll be good to go. Okay, this has the same problem with the contrasting not being great. So, look, that's awesome. They got 2018 Best of the Valley. That seems like a good award, but you can't really see it back there. So again, I would just make this like all black or something if you have limited design capabilities. And then Marcus, Active was voted best gym like every year, and you guys just put that little badge by itself.
Yep. So it was really similar effect, but we made it stand out more. So that's there's an opacity over the image, so it doesn't really stand out. That's a huge selling point.
Right. No sweat consult. Okay. So I would just help people by giving them less options. They have one option, get a free consult. And so they're not having to figure out when to do it and what a no sweat consult is. They don't know what that is. So yeah, just more information there.
All right. This has got to be our last one. Yep.
Okay. All right. So try free class, schedule your free one-on-one consultation, sign up online. So we have 3 calls to action here. As a person who has never been to the site before, I'm not really sure what to do. And just as a normal person, my attention span is really like limited. So I'm not even going to read any of this. I'm just going to click on whichever one of these looks right to me. So I'd rather do a class than a consultation. Okay, so we're scheduling classes. I don't know what any of these classes are. I don't know what community workout means or kids. So it looks like I only have community workout. I'll go back to this one. Intro course.
Yeah, so the fact that we are having to hop around like this, that person's gone.
Simplify, simplify, simplify. Okay. Oh, I feel bad we didn't get to all of these. Okay, how about this? For anybody who I didn't cover, that was one of those 35, email me at jessica@gymwright.com and I'll shoot you a personal email with how I could see you improving your landing page.
Ooh, that's a very juicy offer, Jess.
Well, they'd have to watch till the end, so I hope you guys did.
Cool. All right, great. Well, then that said, let's wrap this bad boy up. Jess, I want to thank you for being on the show again today and for going through all that and doing all the prep work and sharing your knowledge with our community today. And I want to thank all of you motivated gym owners out there for joining us today as well. Again, if you're listening to this via podcast, be sure to check out the video version of this interview along with the extensive show notes at gymwright.com. And if you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Your support means the world to us. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can join the conversation every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the network. Thanks again for your support. Now get out there and build something that matters. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.